All right. Welcome, Fresh Take Culture and Comics, our first live broadcast here. We are going to be doing a rapid reaction here to the Moon Knight trailer that just dropped. If you haven't seen it yet, you want to maybe pause this, go check it out. We're also going to watch it together here live if you want to do that with us. I just wanted to do a couple quick things before we get going. So if you're probably very new to the channel, we aren't officially launched. It's kind of a little soft bonus content. So bear with us. We're still figuring out some things too, but we wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of taste of the stuff we want to do. A couple quick announcements, and then we're going to get right into the trailer. I'm really excited about it. One is I just wanted to say that one show that we are going to be doing coming up pretty soon is Saga, which in my mind is the best series that's been out in the last decade. Is coming off a multi-year hiatus. It's going to be returning. And I believe January 26th is the very next issue. So I'm going to pick that up, give that a read, and tell you guys what I think. And I hope you join that journey with me. It's just an incredible story. The other is, as we build our subscribers here at the beginning, when we hit 200 subscribers, we're going to do a giveaway. And then an even bigger one at 1,000. I'll figure out exactly what those things are, but they're going to be really good books, maybe something, a slab key book. Something maybe it'll be something like this. There's your Moon Knight 1 9.0 right there. And then I just wanted to say again, we're going to be trying new things, making sure we can get things in the feed, run them smoothly for you, and we're going to learn as we go. If you aren't seeing this live and you're checking us out after the fact, still drop a comment. I will definitely get back to you. So that's all I want to say. Thanks for joining us. And why don't we bring in the crew and bring in the trailer, and we'll watch it all together and then talk about it afterwards. Hey, Kessler. How you doing?
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
All right. You guys ready? Wait, before we do this, do you guys know anything about Moon Knight?
Very little. Like, I think I have heard that he is like a gritty, kind of mentally ill Batman.
That is he's often like the Marvel Batman. That is often the comp. And yeah, he we'll get into the mental illness probably after the trailer, because I think they'll definitely be touching on some of that. It is one of the things that's most interesting to me is that they got really big stars to play leads in a pretty obscure character. And now I will say Moon Knight has a intense following. His fans are like really into Moon Knight. And it's a cool character. But anyway, we'll talk about that all after the fact.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's go to it.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I have a sleeping disorder. I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
It's really cinematic.
Buddy.
I think I'm losing it.
We'll catch you on. You're bloody useless, Stevie.
Stephen. I can't tell the difference between life and dreams.
Thank you.
Lost the contact lens.
Hope you find it.
Thanks.
Now hold the phone.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're alive. What's wrong with you, Mark?
Why did you call me Mark? It must be very difficult. The voice in your head.
Shut up!
There's chaos in you.
Embrace the chaos.
That looks
All right.
sick.
All right. I'm going to put us back up and want to pull that out. We'll go full screen. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. So, first impressions, questions, comments, considerations.
I don't know what to make of that. I mean, it's. I think the most interesting thing to me is it like really is. There's no obvious connection to any other previous sort of like Marvel property that we've seen on screen, and that's sort of a hard pivot from nearly everything we've seen thus far.
Yeah. And it also looks. It has the look much more of one of a standalone film than a Disney Plus series, at least from what we've seen up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. I thought it was pretty cinematic looking. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had that same reaction. I also think. I mean, I think it's so. Right before we went live here, I actually got a text from my mom, who like maybe just started getting into the Marvel stuff when I was home for Christmas, and she was like, "Have you heard of this Moon Knight thing? I just
Mom,
saw it
come on the
TV."
pod.
She watched it and like was really pumped and is interested in the show because
Cool.
of that trailer. So I think that's really interesting.
Right on.
But I mean, yeah, I didn't really know what to make of it. It looked like he goes in and out of different like personalities or realities.
I mean, I think my first reaction was, Oscar Isaac, what is that accent we're doing here? Is he actually a British man this whole time, or
he is not? So I don't know. I mean, yeah. So
that was a
tricky
surprise. That was not how I expected you would sound.
Yeah, he won't sound like that for a long time. These are actually I'm never going to know whether it's spoilery or not. But I mean, I think that certainly there is the moment. I mean, clearly there's mental illness going on, and there is the moment where they call him Mark. Moon Knight's name is Mark Spector.
Mm-hmm.
So they're calling him by a different name leading up to that moment, and then why did you just call me Mark? So I don't want to go too far past that because I want to let people engage it, but yeah, he is schizophrenic pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think my guess is they are setting up that accent to create the difference early on, and then we'll get away from it would be my guess. But I don't know. They could. Moon Knight has it's not. There's a couple different like incarnations. It's always been Mark Spector, but they have had different kind of jump in points and backgrounds for him. So we'll see. I like it does feel like tone wise they got it kind of right. I think actually let me throw that. It's a really good comment. Should throw on the feed there. Yeah, Josh, I think that's a really good point. I think that as Marvel's starting to bring on some of the more horror first runs, right? We know Blade is coming. And I think we saw it.
And he's in London in this, and we know of several other characters in London.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, including
Blade.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is right. We know, and sort of the end. We think that's Blade's voice at the end of the Eternals second stinger, and we know that the Agatha Harkness TV show is now coming, and these are all kind of like the horror books things, and Moon Knight fits really well into that. The Midnight Suns is a series people might want to check out if they like kind of the more horror edge stuff in Marvel. But I definitely think they're kind of building there. I think that's where it will connect.
And I think Kit Harington actually confirmed that was Blade at the end of the Eternals.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see it hard confirmed, but that's kind of
I think they've talked about that in press.
Well, so what do you think about? First of all, Marvel's going to bring on more and more obscure characters, right? Like that's part of this larger plan, and certainly the horror books are more niche. Moon Knight lives in a couple different worlds, right? So I think he can play superhero, and he can play the dark vigilante, and he can play in the horror book world. Anyway, you brought that up, sort of it not seeing at first and connecting to other things. Do you think that's going to be a trend as we bring on some of these newer characters?
That they'll
giving them kind of clean entry points and then connect them later?
It seems like it'll be based sort of on each project, like we met Kate Bishop through Renner. Later in the year, they're going to do Secret Invasion, which is with bringing, each project, some seem to be bringing back other people, some seem to see completely brand new. Some like Miss
Joe
Marvel
makes a really
will have
good point.
some
I just want to
connection.
bring that up there.
Mm.
Yeah, no, you can see the moon. That's what you know. So it's moon night. I don't know if you guys got that. Joe brought that up. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Appreciate that.
Okay.
I do want to say that that Kid Cudi throughout the entire trailer like really hit for me. I like that a lot.
Oh, I didn't even.
It was
not on
definitely
my-
like, yeah. Oh, did you not notice it? It was like day and
I
night.
didn't.
And
Oh,
it's from his album Man on the Moon as well.
No, I know that. I know the song. I just my brain was just not there. I was taking notes too.
Dan, do you like Oscar Isaac as this character? Do you think that is proper casting? And do you think that he's looking like what you would have anticipated as someone who's read the character a lot?
So I'd first say I'm just an Oscar Isaac fan. So I'm gonna probably generally like anything he gets cast in.
So you're a big fan of his Apocalypse, right?
Well, you know what I mean. That's a fair point. No, I think I don't think Moon Knight to me is way more the costume and the insanity, to be quite honest with you, than it is who's playing Mark Spector. And part of that is because of sort of the ambiguous personality there. But I mean, he's certainly capable of the role. He's certainly got the ability to kind of touch those darker elements, and he's willing to go there. So I'm very happy with the casting. I'm actually more enamored with the Kevin Bacon casting, just because I don't know. I love it when
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Shall we pull it up?
Yeah. Isn't that who's playing the villainous prophet?
I thought it was Ethan Hawke.
Sorry, Ethan Hawke.
That's
what I meant to say. Yeah. I said the wrong name. I did that. I meant Ethan Hawke. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
well,
you.
I mean,
the same. They fill a very same, place in our culture. But yes, Ethan Hawke is.
I don't know what's happening here, but this looks compelling. Seems like some cult leader vibes. I'm into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, they really brought the star power, and one thing I think Kessler, you and I have both been pretty critical of from Marvel is they tend to bring in some big stars and then waste them. You know what I mean? So I'm really pleased to see an actor of this caliber and this sort of star power being used that front and center for something.
And both have sort of a history of doing weird work as well. I mean, seeing both of them in this trailer. I was thinking about sort of the one Oscar Isaac thing I saw this past year was The Card Counter, and one of the more recent Ethan Hawke things I've seen was First Reformed. They both did the Schrader movies in the past few years. The Card Counter is great, by the way. Highly recommend for everyone. Pretty dark movie, but Oscar Isaac is great, and I did not check out Oscar Isaac in Scenes from a Marriage this year. Apologies to all involved.
The other piece of it too is we've talked about this too, but the Marvel has a villain problem. We just haven't had that many great villains. We've had some, but I actually think the Netflix kind of Defenders shows had better villains than a lot of the MCU properties have had. And as we've had sort of D'Onofrio's Kingpin now crossover, I always think of the Purple Man Kilgrave. I mean, such an incredible villain.
Is one of my top villains of all time.
Oh yeah, fantastic. I mean, I'm basing this off the caliber of the actor and a couple really eerie shots, but this has potential to give us a really great villain. So I'm looking forward to
how focused the shows are, how sprawling they become. I think sort of like Hawkeye let me down a little bit at the end because it got very sprawling and there was a lot happening in that finale, and I don't know that it was sort of satisfactory for everything. Where Loki kept things kind of tight, and I was really satisfied by the end of that season. And here, they haven't even they've announced like 3 actors in this show. There really doesn't seem, it really could just be a 2-hander or a 3-hander, which would be like really exciting to not like sprawl out in all these various directions. And that's sort of like something that's exciting about not, this trailer doesn't even reference any other thing in the MCU, and I'm sure it will connect at some point. But not having to service, I feel like these projects are at their best when they don't have to service all sorts of various things, and they can just tell their own story. As great as Florence Pugh is, I felt like including her in Hawkeye was a bit of a tangent from what that show was doing so well.
Hawkeye is just trying to do too much.
Yeah, and to me, the worst sort of MCU properties, it's always the things that try to service too many masters, do too many different things. Even like we've talked offline about Eternals, how we're gonna hit, why was Dane Whitman even a character in that? Like he's kind of like a weird cameo, and there's just like so many characters happening here, and this would be cool because it would be like only 2 or 3, and then you could maybe later towards the end like send him off on an adventure with Kit Harington and Blade. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, I said it wrong anyway. I mean, I agree with all that. I mean, who knows, right? I think if we're just talking about the trailer and the actual reaction to the trailer, we can only take what we've got away. But it felt so cinematic. I mean, I just thought there was something kind of like old school about it. It had a real kind of big movie feel trailer, which I think is partly why it felt less kind of like what leading into the other Disney shows. Now that may be again because the Disney shows up until this point have been characters we've been introduced to in other properties. This is going to be the first one now. So March 30th. So I guess that's the first time we're getting a new Disney Plus TV show for Marvel, right? So we get a little break here, but this is really the first time they've brought a new property into the MCU. So that's really interesting. And so giving him that kind of isolated entry point has that solo film style. I mean, I'm really, I think there's,
and all those other shows, the shows that came out last year, they were all about characters that we had been introduced as sort of supporting characters in a larger narrative, larger story, played by actors, who are mostly all good, don't feel like stars in the way that Oscar Isaac does. Jeremy Renner is kind of a character actor, although they tried to get him to take over like several different franchises. That's kind of
Renner's career arc is odd. It's an odd career arc. Yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen is great, but she's kind of just like an indie star. Like, where like Oscar Isaac was in Star Wars. He's coming at this like having done 3 Star Wars movies. I think he's been nominated for an Oscar. I hope he was. I mean, the Inside Llewyn Davis is one of the best movies in the past 10 years.
He was nominated for Star Wars,
and he was in Ex Machina too, or Ex Machina. How do you say that?
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina. I thought so. He comes at a lot,
which they're doing a sequel of, and that's. Trying to wrap my brain around that. Yeah, I mean, trying to wrap my brain around that.
He can't be in the sequel, I assume.
Yeah, he can't be. Yeah, he was just in Dune. No, he's a huge movie star. I mean, yeah.
And he's coming out this like he's the center of this story where like all the shows
that's what I mean.
Year,
and they grabbed an Ethan Hawke to play counter that, right? That's what I mean. They took. I keep coming back to it. Like Moon Knight fans will get mad at me for saying this, but like Moon Knight is. I'm sorry, he's a niche. Obscure Marvel character. I know people love him, but and they like loaded up the star power, and I think that had that had to be a very purposeful thing if you're going to try to bring a new character into the fold. You want
to watch this thing one more time?
Yeah, let's
sure. I had a few other questions or comments, but go for it.
Sure. Yeah. Let's play it one more time through. Give just a final thought and get out of here.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I have a sleeping disorder. I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Hello, and welcome to Sleeping
Day and night. In my mind.
I think I'm losing it.
Day and night.
We'll catch you on. You're bloody useless, Stevie.
Stephen. I can't tell the difference between life and dreams.
Thank you.
Lost the contact lens.
Hope you find it.
Thanks.
Hold the phone. Now hold the phone.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're alive. What's wrong with you, Mark?
Why did you call me Mark?
Day and night.
It must be very difficult.
The voice in your head. Shut up!
There's chaos in you.
Embrace the chaos. At night.
And watching it again, I do. Does he work at the same museum that Dane and Cersei worked at?
Oh, I thought they
Ooh.
were at a university.
They might have been.
Cersei. I think I don't think it's the same. Maybe. I think they were.
I don't know. One comment, one thing I did have was I just think you mentioned a bit earlier, but it's interesting that we're now sort of like going 3.5 months without any Marvel stuff after sort of
Right?
feeling like it was coming left and right last year. And we know about at least 6 different things coming for the rest of the year.
Do we know when Multiverse of Madness drops?
I think that's May.
May. Okay, so we
Yeah,
really
May.
we're on a hiatus for sure.
Yeah, I
Just
think
probably
the
smart
movies.
on their part.
Depending on how
I think
many
the-
episodes this is, this could lead in, or like this could be Marvel content every week up until Multiverse of Madness, and then unless they release another show, we'll have a gap between there and Love and Thunder.
Oh, I'm sure they'll release another show.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's got to.
Well, they'll have. It looks like Secret Invasion and Miss Marvel will be the other
Miss
things
Marvel,
this year.
right?
Yeah,
And they're going to want to get
and
Miss
then-
Marvel in before the Marvel. Yeah, all that.
I think they pushed the Marvels to 23. I think
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think so too.
so. So the other question for you, Dan, is
Mhm.
if there are any sort of limited series Moon Knight runs that would be worth maybe 6, 10 to 12 issues worth checking
Yeah.
out
So
ahead of this.
okay. So yeah, I need to. I want to look a little bit more again at this trailer in relationship. I have to go back and do a little Moon Knight reading. Moon Knight is definitely one of those characters where he's had a number of sort of short runs and reboots, and because of the nature of the character, writers tend to really take their spin. There is a current series that they just relaunched, no doubt, wanting to build up hype for this. That's only a few issues in that people are responding really positively to. I have it on my reading list and have not gotten to it. There's a really short, great, I think it's like 6 issues or something like that from Warren Ellis, who's one of, all-time great writers,
I think I
comic
saw that
writers.
mentioned somewhere.
Yeah, so I would definitely suggest reading that.
Mhm.
So I need to double back and take a look, but that's a good question. I can bring it up next time we're on. But I would take the Warren Ellis run for sure. The original series, which is really quite good too. There's a number of sort of like really iconic cover art done by Bill Sienkiewicz. I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong, but he's one of the best cover artists. Really beautiful, beautiful covers too. But one thing that I wanted to talk about that I was reminded of this time too is for it to be a Disney Plus one. It's another Moon Knight's pretty violent. Moon Knight is again, has that Batman thing, but like tends to go even further a lot of times.
It definitely looked it.
Really enjoys the brawl, like enjoys getting hurt himself in the process, you know. So he's like, part of his deal is like he will really slug it out. And they definitely showed at least a frame of that. Be interested to see how violent as we move towards the Wolverines, as we move towards the Punishers, as we move towards some of that stuff. And obviously vampire content.
Hope we're not moving towards the Punisher.
Well, I think we are at some point, right? At some point, there's going to be a Punisher in the MCU. What that looks like, I don't know, and I kind of think Disney and Marvel don't know. I think that's part of it, right? Yeah. They're probably feeling it out. I think that this is probably going to be a feel it out show. I would not be surprised if this leans further, you know, towards the Winter Soldier shield. You know, moment when knocks it out. You know, I think they're gonna play with some of those lines, so it'll be interesting to see. But like overall, just real quick, overall impression, like you hyped about it, you're not sure. I thought the trailer looked good, like just as a cinematic piece of construct. And I'm not, you know, I'm gonna be happy to watch those actors work, so we'll see that. Other than that, I don't know.
I'm super easy to please. I am very hyped about the show. So like anything Marvel, just throw it at me. This looks like better than normal Marvel for me, so I'm very excited.
It doesn't look that way at first blush.
I had, you know, the actors alone, and you know, I hope they got those two guys on board, that there's something in the material that they respond to. I'm not familiar with the writer directors who have done this. I sort of looked over a little bit. He's got some stuff, but stuff that I
some misses, seen, so. Some misses.
So you know, we'll see, but like, you know, Oscar Isaac is a person that, like, if he does something, I'm interested. I might not always see it. Like, I trust that Scenes from a Marriage was very well acted, and it just looked like not a fun hang. Yeah.
It's hard to not fun hang these days. It's just hard.
You know, but on the other hand, like, Oscar Isaac seems like a guy who likes the genre material. He's done a lot of sort of genre stuff, and not all of it has been good. Some of it has been apocalypse.
Yeah. But that was well beyond his control. I'm not putting apocalypse on him. I know. I'm definitely hyped. I have, for the very first time in this Marvel era, this year felt the strains of like, I don't know if we needed that movie. I don't know if we needed that show. So I'm not as I'm not as pure raw fanboy as I've been up until this point. It's been a while now. But my first gut is I thought that looked pretty damn good, and I'm excited to check it out, and let it disappoint me if I'm wrong. But it looks interesting. So all right. Well, I'm sure we'll get more info on it. Thanks, guys. And thanks, everybody who joined us in the live. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.